Does this feel like your cleaning business? Try a better solution with Cleantelligent software. Cleantelligent makes it easy to run your business from your computer or mobile device. Use Cleantelligent software and watch your worries disappear. You can perform inspections anywhere, anytime. Work orders can be submitted instantly online without a paper trail. Improve your productivity with customizable job scheduling. And much more. Cleantelligent has helped cleaning companies around the world dramatically increase their productivity and win new business worth millions of dollars. Request a free demo today at cleantelligent.com/demo. And find out how we can simplify your cleaning business needs.
Hi, this is Dick. Just want to remind you that we have started our Selling Contract Cleaning Services webinar series. But you can still register for the remaining sessions by going to our website, consultantsandcleaning.com. Your time will be well spent. We look forward to having you. Now, on to this week's Cleancast.
Welcome to our Cleancast today. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. The title of our podcast today is called Safety and Its Value. Now, safety is not something that I'm sure that you tuned in today and say, man, I hope he talks about safety. But I do want to spend a few minutes just talking about it. It's not a fun subject, but it's a subject that's very, very costly if it's not handled right. You know, after 50 years or so in this business, 54, one thing I've witnessed that really there are kind of three different categories that companies fall in. One is those companies that just provide lip service to it. Those companies that conduct a session whenever there is a company training class. And then there's those companies that understand the important part safety plays at the well-being of the organization. And so I don't know where you identify or which one of those three you identify with, but most companies fall into those. And so I thought it'd be just quickly, let's touch on some of the issue. Let's touch on what happens to the employee. You know, when you have an employee that's injured, they could potentially lose time, right? And so they are not able to work. So what does that mean? Supervisor has to fill in, or you got to find somebody to fill in. Maybe you don't have anybody, so you stretch everybody that's on the job. What does that do? That has a tendency to hurt the quality of the place, because of the person that's in there now really doesn't, they don't want to be there, you know. So you've got that issue. So that means you got to train that person. So the supervisor really loses a lot of time, because they may end up being the cleaner themselves, right? Now, here's one thing that a lot of people haven't thought about on the issue of safety, or if an accident occurs. Many of us employ part-time employees. And if it's a severe enough injury, that means that your employee that is off may also have to be off from their full-time job for a period of time. So they have now jeopardized their other job by an injury caused on our job. And where they were working maybe 4 for you and 8 for them and getting an income and a half to try to make ends meet, they now get nothing, because they may not get sick leave from this company, at least for the whole period. And what they might get from us for workers' comp will not be a full paycheck. So think about it from the employee standpoint. Think about it from the supervisor standpoint now. You know, the supervisor has to take the time, when somebody is injured, they have to take the time to take that person to the emergency room. They have to fill out paper. work to make, you got to fill out the accident report, which depending on the state, could be due in 48 hours, could be due in 24 hours. And so they got to sit there and fill that out during that entire time that you're waiting for the emergency room to take place. And you've got this building back here that now has got one person short, and you had another schedule, the supervisor had an additional schedule that night to go to this building, this building, this building. They're sitting they're sitting here in the emergency room. Then, assuming this person maybe has to take some time off from work, got to train and got to replace that person, you got to train that person. Think of all the time and energy that that supervisor has to expend on an injury that could have maybe been prevented with the proper safety program and proper safety training. Then look at the company's aspect of it. Now, in my book on supervision, I go into it in a lot great detail. But again, we're trying to keep these in a certain amount of time on our cleancasts. But if you look at I use an example in my book about company number one that maybe let's say both companies. There's two companies. Both of them have $1 million a year payroll, and the first company is not really paid much attention to their mod factor or much attention to safety for that matter. And it's there. It's kind of that company number one that I talked about earlier. So their mod factor has actually gone up to 1.99, which is about as high as you can get before you get thrown into a state pool where it really gets serious. But with one being normal, they're paying a 99. They're almost paying double. So if they had $1 million payroll and they had a 3% workers' comp rate, they would, the normal premium, of course, for what? 3% of $1 million, $30,000. If they've got this 1.99 mod factor, they're going to pay $59,700, almost double. Now, company two, who also has $1 million payroll, also has 3%, has done really a good job, and let's say they're able to get down to a 0.55 mod factor, which is about as low, I think, that you can get. Their $30,000 referred to earlier is not due. They will be paying $16,500. So look at that. The difference between $59,700 and $16,500. That's one heck of a spread. That's what, $43,000, somewhere in there. 43.2, a difference. That one company to the other with the same premium on the same premium rate, regular standard rate with their payroll. Think about that. Isn't it? That's quite a financial impact. Wouldn't it be much more economical to have an ongoing safety program where you have ongoing meetings, ongoing training, and then ongoing bonuses at the end of the year for employees for meeting the standards that you've established, meeting the goals that you've established for a safe workplace? Really is the way to go. So when we talk about safety and it just kind of gets flipped off as something that we have to do because the insurance company wants us to do it, it's got an impact on the employee, it's got an impact on the supervisor, and it has an impact on the company's finances. And the additional thing there is not on, when I talk about the employee and the supervisor gets hung with a lot of stuff because they have to find an employee, they have to train the employee, they may end up doing it themselves, which means something over here that's part of their responsibility isn't getting done either. So I want you to think about that. I want you to really give that some thought as to maybe it's a way that you rethink safety in your company, because it can be very, very expensive. And earlier in one of our earlier cleancasts, maybe 2 months ago now, we talked about OSHA and the inspections and the fines that go with that. If it's a major accident of some kind, you can bet they're going to be in talking to you and looking and investing their time in how safe are you as a company. Think about it. Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.